And we are back. You are listening to Bushwick Garage on Radio Free Brooklyn. My name is Tom Tenney. I'm filling in for the inimitable Rob Pritchard, who is actually in the studio. Full confession, he's here. I'm just we've hijacked the show today in celebration of the Bushwick Film Festival, which is going on right now as we speak. It's been going on since Thursday. It wraps up tomorrow. And from 2 to 4 today, we are talking to filmmakers, actors, producers, organizers, all kinds of people from the Bushwick Film Festival. And in the first half hour, you heard from Jess Vogel and Ian from Lofty Dreams, the web series, and Eric McGinty, the director of Wallabout. And we have a whole new group now in the studio. Oh, and here's the third person. Oh, it's Ben Taylor. It's a party. So in the studio now we have a couple of other filmmakers. We have Sean Savenerati. Ah, damn it! I practiced this in the break too, and I know you. This is the thing. It's so embarrassing. Sean, say your last name.
Seneviratne.
Right. And Sean and I actually went to the New School together. We were in the Media Studies program, and you were the director of a film called Tourists. And we also have Frank Clark.
Hi.
Correct?
That's correct.
All right. And you are the director of a film called 0 Feet Away. They're both short films, right? So, Sean, why don't you tell us about yours first? Pretend you're talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about your film, because I don't.
All right.
So lay it on us. What's the deal? What's Tourists?
So Taurus is a short film about long-distance relationships and cultural identity. It takes a look at this couple in the middle of a summer romance where everything's always a little bit heightened when you know one person may or may not be leaving after a couple of months.
Okay, so, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the female lead, Suzanne, has this opportunity to work at an NGO in India, and she's here with her South Asian boyfriend. And so it's just a matter of how they deal with that opportunity and how it affects their intimacy and communication and how vulnerable they allow themselves to be. So, a lot of it's just sort of that moment of love, and then the moment you have it, it's inevitable erosion through time.
Right. It sounds really interesting. And is this going to be the premiere? Is this the premiere?
Yeah, this is the premiere. This is we're just starting our festival run, so next month it'll be in San Diego at the San Diego Asian Film Festival.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Fantastic. And how this is the result of how much work? How many months or years of blood, sweat, and tears went into this?
Well, the script maybe about 2 years, because this is a prologue to a feature that I'm working on, and so I hit a roadblock with the feature. I was like, let me try to just do a sort of prologue as a short.
Right.
I wrote it to work on with actually another New School classmate, Aaron Smith.
Okay.
At the time. And then I just kind of shelved it for a while, and then I went back to it, revisited it, worked on it, and then in March of 2014, I was like, all right, this feels good.
Right.
And then it's just a matter of saving all my freelance money. I didn't do any Kickstarter for this. It's just, calling up clients, asking them for my checks. And
wow.
2 days of production and about 4 months of post-production. We really took our time with it.
Oh, okay. So really you were only shooting for 2 days for this. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And all self-financed.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Congratulations
Thanks.
on that. I mean, it must feel good to see something that was completely from you. Just, that's,
totally.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, tell us about, Frank. Frank, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Tell us about 0 Feet Away.
0 Feet Away is a horror film. It's a cautionary tale about a guy, a young gay man named Chase.
Right.
And it's about how we communicate through apps and through texting. And he's looking for a hookup one night, and the guy he's talking to, looking to have a sexual encounter with.
Yeah.
It starts out a little fun, and then it becomes increasingly creepy until
as it always does.
Until there's not much between them.
Right.
Just because the apps, they track you these days, like Tinder and primarily Grindr is the app of the
right
film.
Right. Okay.
It's basically when a stranger calls for the gay generation.
And you say it's a cautionary tale. Who are you cautioning exactly and against what?
I wrote it in a way where it's clearly an LGBT horror film, but I wanted millennials specifically, my friends and my peers to understand that when they watch it, they go, "Oh, maybe I don't use that app, but I've used this app." And
okay, right.
You know,
So do you consider yourself an anti-technologist or just a cautionary technologist? I mean, is it
when I wrote it, I was
Yeah.
like, where is because I wrote it maybe a year and a half ago,
Right.
maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, where is the genre of horror going? And
Right.
it's becoming increasingly tech oriented.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, let me go in that direction and let me do something I've never seen before.
That's
and
interesting, right.
I've never seen a gay horror film.
Right.
So I wanted to do that.
That's interesting. And so is this the premiere also as
This
Sean's
is the East Coast premiere
The East
last
Coast.
night.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay, and you had have you both screened already at the festival?
Last night I just screened.
You screened last night, and you were
Mine's
when
going to
was
be tomorrow at Anthology Film Archives at 2:00.
Anthology in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were doing that in the Bushwick Film Festival. Okay.
I think it's the only proper theater space that
the actual
they
theater.
rented
Okay,
out, yeah.
all right, cool. That's but that's a big theater. I mean, that's a nice theater.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That's great. So 2 p.m. Tomorrow for yours. And is yours having another screening, or you're done?
Actually, I mean, I'm having another one in Los Angeles at the Rest in Peace Horror Film Festival, October 21st, I believe, in Echo Park.
Okay. And these are what are the respective lengths of your films? You say they're both shorts, but that can be anything from
10 minutes.
10 minutes to
14 minutes and 57 seconds.
14:57. All right.
15:27 with the credits.
Right. Okay. And so, Sean, I know you've been making films for quite a long time. And what about you? Have you been? Is this something that you've been doing right along? Is this your first film?
I've been filmmaking since I was like in middle school.
Okay.
And I kind of just always knew that's something I wanted to do. So did it through high school, and I just graduated college this past March.
Right.
So this is my thesis film.
So this is your thesis film, okay? And what were some of the, what were some of the challenges? Because you said you spent like several months in post after, only a couple days in production. What were some of the challenges you guys encountered in making these films in particular? Sean, you're smiling. I know you have a story there.
Well, the biggest challenge was just trying to get in touch, try to get location permits for stuff. So we had to film at an airport. So we were trying to, me and my producer were trying to get in touch with Newark for 3 months.
Right.
And nothing until a week before. And then they finally got in touch with us. It's like, oh yeah, it's under Port Authority jurisdiction, and you need it's $15,000 minimum for any size production.
Oh my God!
So we're like, all right, I guess we're gonna have to steal that shot at Newark Airport, which was incredibly stressful. And then there are a lot of driving scenes, so we found this nice loop in between IKEA and Newark Airport in New Jersey, in the shipping yard area, which is also under Port Authority jurisdiction. So as soon as we rigged up the car with the camera, we were going for our first take. A cop comes and pulls us over. Thankfully, I still had my new school ID.
Yeah.
And I'd played dumb and pulled a student car. And I was like, we talked to so-and-so. It was a Sunday, so there's going to be no way they'd get in touch with the guy.
Right.
So I gave the name and everything. And it was actually kind of great because then the cop just called all the other cops and said, there's a production going on. Just leave
him alone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's great. But wow, $15,000 for any type of production.
Yep.
Now, this is clearly something that filmmakers have to deal with, right, all the time. I mean, is that you're getting gouged for money that where the hell are you going to get, where is this supposed to come from, So, I mean, Frank, did you encounter similar things on this or other films? Or?
I mean, my location problem wasn't really a problem in the sense that I filmed at a house that I found on Airbnb.
Okay.
But the owner was out on vacation, so she didn't know.
So she has no idea until she goes to see the film, and she's like, wait a minute, that's my kitchen.
So, we filmed 2 days in the house,
right.
in this beautiful home in the Hollywood Hills, and as everything was going on, I was like, oh my God, we can't break anything, and just take off your shoes. And I was sweeping every other minute and mopping at the end of the shoot.
And did you break anything?
I did not break anything. And I'm the clumsiest person in the world.
Right. And so to this day, she does not know that this horror film was shot
unless she's listening right now.
That is sort of awesome. I kind of love that. But what do you, what would you recommend to other small filmmaker, or not small makers of
young,
independent filmmakers, right? Who don't have a ton of money, who don't have a lot of backers or investors, or who didn't do a Kickstarter to raise $100,000. What do you recommend in terms of, because it seems like these licensing issues, not only just for shooting in an airport, really like 15 grand is just kind of insane, but also like if you wanted to have, 3 seconds of The Simpsons playing in the background and it was critical to your story, that's another 25 grand.
Yeah.
I say just be creative, honestly. You're going to hit a lot of roadblocks and you're going to get a lot of no's. And, it just makes you work harder. You just have to think of a way around it. Maybe instead of an airport, maybe we rewrite the scene, and
Right. Yeah. Or you could just go and, it's like, they say that it's a lot easier to get forgiveness than it is to get permission.
That was our, being a brown person at an airport with coming out the back of a black SUV with a giant camera was a little nerve wracking. But
I'm sure.
I kind of operate on the ask for forgiveness principle.
Right.
But yeah, it's just always think of your resources.
Have you ever got called out? Has anyone ever come to you after the fact and said, "That's you owe us this amount of money because that's my airport"? Clearly, I don't even. Do they have people even looking out for that?
Yeah. There were police there, and we kind of had to wait to get that shot until the police passed by. But
right.
But
and did you do hide your camera under an overcoat or something, or like?
We had the SUV door open, and until the cops were out of the scene, and we had a walkie-talkie in the car, so we were in a parking lot, and we were shooting the actors pull into the passenger drop-off area to get out. So we just say, but as soon as the cops walked in, we took the camera out from behind the car, walkied them to come in, and then we just did it all in one take.
Right.
I'm super happy with how it turned out.
Good.
But I definitely cried afterwards because I was like, oh my God, we did it and we're not in jail.
Right. And I think that there's there's so much guerrilla filmmaking that goes on, and especially around New York City. You see it all the time. Obviously I don't know if people necessarily have permits, but I always assume that they don't.
Yeah.
It seems like we wouldn't even bother to ask after a while. You know what I mean? just like okay, I'm just going to steal this shot.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you were happy with the way that came out. Yours is not shooting tomorrow, so I'm not going to ask you about reception. But how did you feel like yours went on?
It was great. I was very impressed with the other films, and everyone was coming up to me afterward and congratulating me, and it was a really awesome feeling, especially
that's great
for me being so new to this and young, and
that's fantastic.
I'm visiting, so that's always exciting.
Yeah. Did you fly out from LA just for this?
Just for this.
Oh, okay. Great. Oh, that's awesome. And did you? Is this your first time in Brooklyn?
I've spent a little bit of time in Brooklyn, but this is the most I've spent in Brooklyn is this particular trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you hanging out in Bushwick here, or?
Yeah, I've done some of the events, and I'm going to continue to do them today and tomorrow.
That's great. And Sean, you're still New York based, I'm assuming, right? Okay. And do you live out here? You live in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I live in Bushwick now.
Oh, you do?
So yeah,
we're
right
neighbors.
off DeKalb.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I live right across the street from here. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We should go have a drink.
Yeah,
sometime
absolutely. Yeah, go to Booby Bar. Have you been to
what? I was just there last week. I had a couple of guests in the studio for my regular show on Wednesday night, and they were like, "Do you know this bar, the Booby Trap?" And I was like, "No, I've heard of it." They're like, So I went with them, and and that guy Thomas, who was, you weren't here when he left, but he was here earlier. Was there, and they all live in that neighborhood.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's where you live around there. Or?
No, I'm on St. Nicholas and Harmon, so I'm a little bit.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty close though. It's still just just one block up past Wyckoff, right? So
apparently we don't need apps to stalk people anymore. We just need this radio show,
right? Yeah. So my address is.
Do a film about us. Do a horror film about Radio Free Brooklyn. Well, this is great. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. We're going to be setting up for yet another group that's coming in a few minutes. But I want to congratulate you both on the films. Is there anywhere? I suppose there's not anywhere I can actually see the films, but is there anywhere I can at least see a trailer or?
You can see my film on Tent Square, tentsquare.com.
10 Square.
Tent Square, TENT Square.com.
Oh, Tent Square.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm there. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at Frank the Fox. You can find my silly sayings and my clips and everything about me on Twitter.
Okay, yeah. Great. And Sean, do you have other?
The film isn't online yet because of some licensing stuff. We licensed Nina Simone songs for festival use only, so before doing
Right.
any of the putting it online, I would have to clear that stuff. But I do have a
see.
trailer
Okay.
online. It's on my Vimeo page. It's also on the Bushwick Film Festival's page as well.
Sure. Right.
But
okay.
yeah, my internet handle for everything is The Brown Shaun, Shaun. So
Okay.
that's my Tumblr, my Twitter, my Facebook. So really, my Vimeo.
Got it.
Super easy to find.
Do you have a like thebrownshawn.com?
Yeah, actually, my
Yeah.
website is that's the perfect place to see my trailer and
Okay.
other films is filmsbyshaun.com.
Okay, filmsbyshawn.com.
Yep.
Great. Well, it's been a pleasure having both of you guys in the studio. I wish you both the best, and congratulations on the Bushwick Film Festival. And I look forward to seeing. We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
You should friend me on Facebook also
do it.
at Tom Tenney, and
I'll message you on Grindr while I'm at it.
yeah. and keep me posted on other stuff that's coming up.
Sure.
For sure. Again, thank you again. And
you
we're going to
so
go to
much.
some music,
Thank
and
you.
we're going to be back in about 5 or 10 minutes with some more folks from the Bushwick Film Festival. But in the meantime.